Record. All right. So here's our question. Saving to buy a car and you deposit this amount of money at the end of each month for 2 years in an account that pays a low interest rate, but it's this amount compounded monthly. So find the future value for the savings arrangement. In other words, after 2 years, how much is in the account? So first question, how many deposits will you have made after 2 years? Well, you're going to make 12 every year because it's one per month. So it's just 12 times 2, 24. And I'm using the Desmos scientific calculator, by the way, which is free online. So 24. And then question 2, what will the monthly interest rate be? What this is or this? Well, to get the monthly interest rate, you take the annual percentage rate and just divide it by 12. So 2.3% is actually 0.023. I hope we figured by now. And divide that by 12, and you get this big long number. And that is the monthly interest rate. So this is the answer here, this one. Right? Question 3, what's the future value for this savings arrangement? So let's get out our formula. All right, so the formula we're looking for, if you look at your formula sheet, is the balance after T deposits. So it's, in our case, T is 24. So it's going to be the balance after 24 deposits. It's not as simple as just like compound interest, because it's not like we put, you know, $10,000 into an account and watched it grow. We're putting money in each month and it's also growing. So there's two things happening. You're putting $135 into this account and it's also gaining interest. So it's complicated, right? Can you understand that? So that's why that's where this kind of complicated formula comes from. It's not just simple, you know, compound interest where you just stick one principal amount of money in and watch it grow. You're putting stuff in each month and it's continuing to grow. But a great rule of thumb, by the way, is, and what we should always do, and why don't we do this? I mean, so it was what, $135 a month, right? So how about this? Just 135 times 24. That's 3,240, right? So you'll have put in $3,240 into the account, right? So, I mean, let's just keep an eye on that number because our answer should be pretty close because the interest rate's only 2.3% annually. So it's not much. So we're going to have a little bit more money than that. So if we come up with like $1 million, we're way off, right? Or if our answer ends up being like $50, we're way off. It needs to be somewhere around here, a little bit more than this. Okay. So in any case, deposit 135 times 1 plus the monthly interest rate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go 0.023 over 12. And then close parenthesis. And then to the power of, and on the Desmos calculator, I can use, see this A to the power of B. I'm going to click that. And then T is 24. Going to type 24. And then go over and then subtract 1. Be careful not to subtract 1 from your exponent because that would just make it, like 23. Okay, that's not right. You got to put the exponent on this guy and then subtract 1. And then close parentheses. And all of that is divided by R, which is 0.023 over 12, right? And so your answer should look like this, 3312.43 if it's the nearest cent. And I can't remember where we ought to round it to, but let's have a look here. Round your answer to the nearest dollar. Okay, so we should get 3312. Okay. Now notice that that's very close to 3240. Like the interest gave us almost nothing, right? So, but like it's always good to do that as a rule of thumb. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk over that calculation on a piece of paper just in case you're using a different calculator. So just in case you're using a different calculator or whatever, let's just go over that calculation again. So it's 135 bucks. And then you could go parenthesis 1 plus r. So I'm going to go 1 plus 0.023 over 12, close parenthesis, to the power of that little hat sign, to the power of t, which is 24 months, then subtract 1, close parenthesis, and then over, and it needs to be r. So like the interest rate, I'm going to put the bottom in parentheses. So 0.023 over 12, right? And that would be like a one-line calculator entry where this is the top, sorry, this, let's see, separate here. So this is like the top, I'll just put that in red, and this here is the bottom, right? So top, then the bottom. And of course, if you want to, you could just calculate the top, get the number, and then calculate the bottom and then divide if you want. Or you could use that big long number for the interest rate, the whatever it was. What was it now? 0.023 over 12, like this thing. You could use that for the interest rate if you really want to, like something like give it a bunch of decimal places. So yeah, if you wanted to, you could have like that in there. Be something like that. That would also work if you really wanted to. And then divide that. That would just be divided by that, right? So this thing divided by that. That's another way to do it. There we go. Do that. So the last part is how much total interest will you have earned over the 2 years? Not much, because it's just this amount, what we end up with, subtract what we put in. All right. So what we put in again is $135 every month for 2 years. So 135 times 24 months and 2 years. You put in 3,240 and you end up with 3,312. And so just subtract that, 3,240, and $72 is your interest, and that's it. Right?